Package from China. But which one are the best one to buy? Let's chit chat about it. Let's go. So when it comes to AliExpress, I've been buying for more than 5 years now. And in this video I want to share my personal experience, but particularly showcasing some favorite stores where I buy. And the reason is very simple. When you're going to be searching for a game box, there are so many different, let's say, stores out there. Where some of them are like these pop-up stores, they come and they're going. But we do have a lot of, let's say, legit and have a lot of feedbacks. We're going to be chit-chatting about those too and just want to share my personal experience. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, hit the little bell. And if you've already been in, let's say, big purchases or purchases stuff from AliExpress, let me know in the comments what is your positive or negative experience, because I'm really curious about it. AliExpress, you can find almost everything on here, but you need to also be careful what you're going to be buying. Of course, different region will give different prices, but also when it comes to deliveries and everything else. However, let's join and let's have a lot of fun. Mainly it's going to be about gaming stuff because of course I buy and review a lot of game related products. But in the future I want to check out more different weird products from AliExpress with the Wicked Package from China. A channel that's just dedicated to package of China or China stuff in general. So how do I actually search when it comes to products? So first of all, if you're going to be looking into something of an, let's say, game system, Gamebox is one of those terms that I'm mostly using. In here you can find all kinds of different search results that also occurs when it comes to YouTube itself. But let's click on the Gamebox. So this is a great example, finding all kinds of random stuff. Over here having the all famous sub-handhelds, I love to call them, or the Game Boys with all kinds of Famicom games, or the old school arcade box. So the first thing I'm always doing is looking not only at the price. The price for me is not like the most important detail. Sometimes it's only a couple of dollars discount. But the first thing you can do is looking at this, the choice free shipping. I don't know if this is going to be dedicated to every single country, but in Europe and sometimes maybe in the US, we have this very fast and special deals. But mostly important when you're going to be returning a product like this, you have so much easy, let's say, to return it. And that is one of those extra things you're getting, because with returns, it's going to be absolutely a nightmare sometimes if you're not having a choice or a different, let's say store. So I would recommend checking out the choice AliExpress commitment stuff. You know, if you're going to buy from there and there's something wrong, it's so much easier to send back, or at least from my side. So when it comes to the products, also double check which version you're having, and they'll try to lure you in with the $28 like prices. But when you're going to be looking closely, yeah, and you're clicking on, let's say, the bigger models, you're getting a completely different price. You know, it's a little bit of, let's say, stuff they're always doing over there, where you're seeing as something like $90 or $28. You're clicking on it and it seems to be something different, or they're just selling the controller separately. I really hate when they're doing this. And when you're going to be ordering, let's say in Gamebox, for example, always double check if you have the right type. For example, EU, the other size of, let's say, different power supplies. If you're not going to be doing this, I've made the mistake in the past. Yes, sometimes it's going to be absolutely a nightmare. However, if you're going to be looking into, let's say, the different, let's say, regions, you can also see some of them, let's say, in the US and European zone, we do have all of the boxes in stock. If you're clicking on the UK, you only have like 2 of them. So there are quite a lot of differences, so you need to take consideration. If I didn't make a video about it, there is always another thing you can do, is going into the feedback page. Those feedbacks can be okay, sometimes they're kind of pointless, but this gives you a great overview how the product is. So first of all, in here you're finding how many people give like 5 stars. And you can just see that a lot of people were quite satisfied. Of course, it's fun to look into the 1 and 2 stars just to see how people are complaining and what is going on. So yeah, there are a lot of different, let's say, ways you can actually check out if it's any good. So when it comes to descriptions, they are making no sense sometimes. And yeah, this is quite a good overall, let's say, example how good it actually can be. And they do use this weird like translation program in different languages that makes even more like of a mess. But when it comes to this seller, he did an amazing job explaining what are the differences, what you can actually do with it. But take it with a grain of salt, because some of these, like I say, descriptions are quite deceiving and you're getting something completely different. So you find on, for example, over here, the store itself, they placed it on a very strange way when it comes to, let's say, the store. Sometimes you need to scroll and search for it. You can send a message to the personally. When you're clicking on this, I really love it. It will automatically showcase which product it is about. So if you're clicking it, it's going to be super convenient. But going to the DigDog store is an official store over here. Don't want to translate, but in here you see all of the product he's selling, and he doesn't sell a lot. However, it does get an okay feedback when it comes to that, and this is one of the key things you need to look for. Just not only the price, but look at what kind of products or what kind of shipment option are you having. And yeah, of course, not always this is a possibility, because when it comes to new products, they're not in the choice program instantly. But let's chit chat about the favorite stores. Let's do a chit chat, because there are a lot of familiar ones out there. So you can just see you having the iMuggin store, Kinhang store, and there are a lot of them where I buy from. But to give you like a great example, which one you should actually like not buy from. So one of them actually over here, these weird shop names, Shop 1103802015 store. You know, those weird stores do sell a lot of stuff, but it's highly possible if you're going to be buying it, you're not going to be receiving anything. And most of the time you can file in a dispute, get your money refunded, but it's always like a little bit of a hassle when it comes to that. So I would not recommend buying from those stores. Get yourself a store that is more familiar and has an overall, let's say, better options. So you can see there's all kinds of stuff that you're actually selling. And of course, is he really trustworthy? What you can actually do is going to the store itself. Here you can just see that it says that it is created in May 22. So as making this video, this store is not really online for a long time. He made a lot of purchases and his feedback score is above 90. So I don't know exactly how many percentage you will have, because if they are selling a lot of crap in the same store, the percentage will exactly like drop down to like maybe 80 or 70 or 90 in this case. I sell a lot of familiar stuff from Kinhang and other mini arcade stuff, but the quality overall when looking at the product, it's absolutely random. You have a couple of pages, even having some hard drives or whatsoever for sale and some official, but most of the time they're just having all kinds of crap in the store. Doesn't show anything on the third price. There's another thing going on AliExpress sometimes, that the store doesn't work at all. But in this way we can find all kinds of stuff. Let's say having a handheld, I don't know why I don't type over here, I was clicking on it. If you're going to be looking into the handheld itself, you have all kinds of different handhelds, and this is just a completely different rabbit hole when you're looking at everything that is going to be sold on here. I always try to, let's say, deep dive into the rabbit hole, trying to buy every single item I can find, just to give you an idea what is actually going on, because I know a lot of people search on YouTube about like reviews to get an actually good idea what they're getting, because there is a lot of products out there that are absolutely crap or outdated. One of the great examples is this, the X series. I freaking hate these things, because when they look kind of cool, sometimes like this PlayStation Vita thingy going on, the X12 Plus, they all have the crappy software. You do pay not a lot of money, for example, for this MP5 called the X7 with $25, but I do find these things completely horrible. Like, they are not even worth the $25 now, and that has simply to do, there are so many different solutions out there, and that is one of the reasons you need to look out for like many of these products. You have so many options out there. If you're looking at like 20 all the way up to 40, 50, there is so much actually you can buy, and you know, you can only waste your money once when it comes to some of the products. So nevertheless, let's do a quick overview of a couple of my favorite stores. The golden oldie store, Datafrog. So Datafrog is actually a store that has been around for a very long time now. So when making this video, I do even see new products coming out every single time I'm logging in. But they have all kinds of products, like game systems, controllers, you know, they have all kinds of weird products. But Datafrog is a golden oldie, and I've been buying for over 5 years from this particular store. So when it comes to the quality, it's going to be a hit or miss with these things. So one of the great examples when you're looking at the handheld itself is this particular SF2000. And this is a very cheap model. It gets super cheap. And of course, if you're going to be looking at different kits, you can see different prices. But this is an interesting product, and maybe one of the cheapest and best products you can buy at the moment, where this thing does have like a lot of problems. It was kind of a cool idea, and showcase how cheap products can be. So when it comes to the Embernick, and Embernick is a familiar brand at the moment, and I'm buying it from the direct store. You also have the official store. Sometimes you maybe have some minor differences in pricing, but it's kind of interesting to see what kind of different products we're having. Embernick, most of the products, I'm very satisfied with it, beside having a comfortable situation when it comes to, let's say, display, form factor, and etc. But they still sell really old crap. And what do I mean with old crap? So this mini arcade was kind of cool, but the overall quality was quite quite disappointing with 520 games. You can even connect 2 of them together, but it was absolutely one huge disappointment. So one of the products they still sell, and in my opinion they just damage their own name by selling crap like this, because while we're having good handhelds, they also sell these crappy mini arcades. A great example as a store that is around for some time is the 3C Digital Club store. You can just see that they sold over 50,000. That's absolutely crazy. Have around like 90% of positive reviews, and of course, yeah, the positive reviews will drop if people buy crap. So you can just see that we're having all kinds of product reviewed on the channel, like the S10 handheld, the mini super of NES minis with all kinds of things like HDMI connection. There's the SF900, the plug and play, and this is one of those stores that have been around for a very long time, but they don't really have their own, let's say, products like an Embernic, or this is just this random long-term store that has all kinds of products like plug and play controllers, handheld like the R36S, and of course the sub mini Game Boy devices, and a fan, like, you know, random fan, like why? But when it comes to all kinds of handhelds and gamebox systems, I can keep go like on and on with different stores I bought from, but I just wanted to give you a couple of them. You have like many different company names out there, Stone Store and you name it, like Factory Game Direct Store, you know, there are so many. But if you want to look out for like the horrible ones that I had, like buying some products and let's say after a month or so when a product come in, the store is like gone, you know, nobody's responding anymore, I recommend checking the choice stores in combination with the feedback and just grab products from the stores that have just like a lot of like, so just they're been around for some time with a lot of sales. Those are the best ones to actually buy your products. Another great example is the Pandora's box. You can just see when typing in Pandora's box, we're getting all kinds of random stuff. Complete 2-player stakes, 1-player stakes, Jamma kits. Of course, the jungle of Pandora's box have all kinds of different Pandora's box. A lot of clones, way too many of them. Having like mini arcades and mini arcades. Let's chit chat about that. There's one particular one I do like a lot. That is actually this tiny Pandora's box DX. This thing still runs on old software, but I can tell you that this is a very cool, let's say, mini arcade. I did a review some time ago, and I can tell you that this was maybe one of my favorite mini arcades. Had at least a good software and was a lot of fun to play. For just giving you an example, that there are some random store out there that has some pretty good things. But when it comes to arcade parts, also here we're having the same situation, that we're having different kind of store. For example, Lucky Arcade Store is one of the ones I've purchased a lot from. We also have like the official Pandora's Box store that sells only their own Pandora's Box. They're actually like one of the first ones. And of course, the stores that I've bought a lot from is the EO Gaming Store. It's kind of weird if you're going to be trying to find them. And that is one of those things that I don't get with the search engine. It's clearly that, you know, trying to search for the EO Gaming Store, it's absolutely impossible because I'm getting all kinds of random crap and not like the Pandora's box I was searching for. And I have no idea why they're actually doing this, because the EO Gaming Store is a very old one, selling all kinds of, let's say, their own products like the Pandora Game 3D. Going back to the Pandora Game 3D, that's a great example. You type it in, there's a completely different Pandora's box, but you can still getting the Pandora Saga AX2, that's nothing to do with it. So that search engine, you need to dig deep into this and you need to keep looking and looking. And we have all kinds of different stores that you keep see coming back when it comes to arcade parts. And it's the same story that's going to be implemented, what I told you before with the game boxes and handhelds. You need to look out for, let's say, some couple of stores. Hey, look at what we find here, the EO Gaming Store. So when getting into this store, you can just actually see it, that this is one of my favorite ones. Yeah, they don't have like a lot of innovation going on as making this video. I've reviewed so far every single product that they've released. Some of them are completely overpriced when it comes to like shipment, because that's the major problem. Where I did love this Pandora Game 3D foldable case. It was very expensive to buy, but sometimes you can even buy them from their, let's say, European store or European places. So shipping is going to be not that expensive if you're going to be buying them directly from China. So this is actually what's going on when it comes to, let's say, the Pandora's box, handheld game boxes. And I think this is the same story if you're going to be looking for RC cars or something else. You always need to look out for, let's say, which is a real brand, or at least like there has a store behind it, or which one are just like these copy-paste products where they're slapping on different name numbers. Pandora's box is a great example where they're copying each other all the freaking time. Another great store I love to buy stuff from if you want to upgrade your old school retro system with RetroScaler and Bitfunks. So I understand they're the same. So in here we're finding Sony series, so having PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's say PlayStation 2. In here we're finding all kinds of cool upgrades. Yep, you can upgrade it with a plug and play solution over here. The MX4 SEO, for example, if you want to play with an SD card, and all kinds of cool upgrades from upscalers, you name it. Even if you want to have like an SSD inside of a 5.2 drive, you have even a bracket for this. There is so much actually stuff you can buy and upgrade your old school retro system and just relive your old school games. So RetroScaler is one of the stores I went for, and I've bought a lot of different, like say, memory cards and all kinds of crazy stuff. Still need to update a couple of videos that I need to make on the channel, but you can even find like an extension controller, you know, the weirdest thing. You can just need it if you want to extend your original cable. Super convenient. There is all kinds of cool stuff that you can actually buy with RetroScaler. Many different, let's say, soft devices, Sega, even a Microsoft Xbox, you know, there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. So one of the stores I do have a mixed feeling about is the Fun Fortress game accessory store. You have two stores actually, and the reason why I have this double feel, because there's a kind of, like say, weird thing going on where I purchased all kinds of cool, let's say, custom stuff, like the modified Saru system, some weird like hitbox arcade stick. This store sells all kinds of custom products. For example, having here modified PlayStation 2s. So this is one of the cool things I want to buy, is a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 5 mini case, you know, and that is they're not going to be like products that are going to be like produced in millions or like thousands. So these things are custom made and they are quite expensive. And in short, they actually make no sense whatsoever if you think about it. But I still want to have that, and I still want to review it in the channel, because the thing comes even in built-in HDMI. How did they manage to do that? And is it even worth the 200 plus freaking dollars? It's a rabbit hole. This is just a fact when it comes to AliExpress. I hope this video helped out and gave more like a little bit of a better idea what is going on with AliExpress and what to expect. Did you have like positive and bad experiences? Let me know in the comments. I'd really love to chit chat with you about it. Subscribe, hit that little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.